Jai Shri Ram. Horoscope 2026. Today we'll analyze how India's horoscope, particularly for 2026, looks like in view of the strained energy landscape and developments in West Asia, and the likely impact of the same, if any, that may emerge during our astrological analysis on our economy, LPG and fuel supply and prices in the long run in future as part of our today's astrological academic exercise. It is a purely astrological academic exercise based on the horoscope of our beloved country, Independence Day Horoscope of our beloved country, and has nothing to do with the geopolitical development. It is purely an astrological academic exercise. In this astrological academic exercise, we'll examine astrologically, will the stressed LPG and fuel situation improve soon, or will the global energy landscape continue to cause more pressure on our everyday needs? Although our government is doing its best to efficiently maintain the supply and control the prices internally in the best interests of the citizens of the country. Today, in my deep dive astrological analysis, I shall predict when the stressed LPG and energy situation is likely to ease or may be further strained or stressed due to the reported ongoing developments in West Asia and reported interruption in navigating through the Strait of Hormuz through my Akool Saral Jyotish approach, turning complexities into simplicities. Based on the detailed and meticulous analysis of the Independence Day Horoscope of India, the most accurate horoscope. It is most accurate horoscope. India's Independence Day Horoscope is most accurate horoscope. You can rely upon. In this presentation, you will learn the astrological factors responsible for the likely stressful situation in the energy sector through a detailed analysis of the ID horoscope. ID means Independence Day. ID horoscope of India, and we will also understand which houses of the horoscope and planets are primarily responsible for the interruption of the supply chain through the sea route. You will learn it. At the end of the presentation, I will provide a noteworthy summary you cannot afford to miss. So, please stay with me with this presentation till the end of the presentation, because a stressful LPG and fuel situation directly impacts our daily life and above all, our beloved nation. In case of any likely event like this, staying informed, listen me carefully. In case of any likely event like this, staying informed, calm, and avoiding panic buying is not only just wise It is our shared responsibility. National interests are always above all. Please remember, national interests are always above all. This astrological analysis, prepared solely with the intention of astrological academic purpose, would broadly highlight the present Mahadasha, the present and near future Antardashas in the Independence Day Horoscope of India, our beloved country, the present and near future planetary transits, and most importantly, all the astrological factors that may impact the LPG oblique fuel situation. Independence Day Horoscope India. I have brought the horoscope. Please look at it carefully, minutely. I will tell you where you need to concentrate for astrological academic purpose, that I am stressing again and again. See, the ascendant or lagna of India is Taurus. It is a south style horoscope. I always use south style horoscope because all the details, birth details or inception details are integrated in the horoscope itself. So, see, ascendant is Taurus. We are currently going through Mars Mahadasha, which will continue up to 2032. It started in 2025. Mars is not a benefic planet in the horoscope, in the Independence Day Horoscope of India. Because we have to analyze impartially. Otherwise, we will not going to learn anything. For the sake of the astrological academic interest, we must agree what is the fact. Otherwise, it is the duty of the astrologers to alert. Otherwise, we would not able to alert. We will not become alert. See, Mars, we are now going through the Mahadasha of Mars. It is the seventh lord. I will make the things very simple. We all know seventh lord is a Maraka lord. But since it is a country's horoscope, it is not going to act as that kind of Maraka as in the individual horoscope. It will cause pain to us and our country. It will cause pain. Mars is the seventh lord for Taurus ascendant and the 12th lord. It is placed in the second house as an enemy planet. Mars is an enemy planet for Taurus ascendant. Mars is an aggressive and aggressive planet and significator of war. It has been directly aspecting the 8th house Sagittarius. In case of Taurus ascendant, Sagittarius is the 8th house. 8th house is not a good house. You all know. Moreover, it is a fiery sign, Sagittarius. Mars is an enemy planet in our horoscope has been aspecting the 8th house. What is 8th house? What the 8th house signifies? Everything, the natural resources beneath the earth's crust. What are the natural resources? Petroleum products. Natural resources beneath the seas. Then these are sea root, sea. 8th house is seas and overseas. 8th house represent seas and overseas. So, in whenever the Mars will get a pretext, slightest pretext, will try to explore these things, means sea routes, natural resources, etc., to destabilize, to cause us pain. Because Maraka planet in any country's horoscope gives pain to the country and the people as a whole. People of the country as a whole is my analysis. And Mars has been aspecting the 8th house Sagittarius with its 7 aspects, means 180-degree aspects. It is very strong aspects. Whenever a planet aspects the 7th house from it, it is a very strong aspect. It is strongly aspecting as an enemy planet. And we are undergoing the Mahadasha, means the dynamic period of Mars. Otherwise, as for now, before 2025, Mars was a dormant planet. But from 2025, it has become dynamic because of its Mahadasha. We all know it is a simple astrological thing I am going to share with my beloved and learned viewers. It will continue up to 2032. Mars will remain dynamic. So during dynamic period, it will give its full result. Whatever is its promises. And Mars being an enemy planet doesn't keep good promises. It is directly influencing the 8th house. And we all know 8th house is the highest streak house. And what is the significance of 8th house? These are natural resources beneath the earth crust, beneath seas, under the seas and ocean, and the sea routes. It will try to give us pain by destabilizing all those things. It is very simple. Now, look at the Mahadasha. Mahadasha I have explained. Presently we are going through the Mahadasha of Mars-Rahu. Look at Rahu. Rahu is in the ascendant. Mars-Rahu mutual period never goes well, because both are core natural malefic planet. So, Mars is an warrior and Rahu is a bad planet. Mlecha means foreigner, foreign. Rahu represents foreign, overseas. And Mars also represents foreign countries because of its dual lordship. And you see, Mars is not only giving its drishti to the 8th house, It is also doubly connected with the 8th house because of Jupiter. Jupiter from the 6th house of conflict as the 8th lord has been aspecting Mars by his 5th aspects. Although Mars aspect is good, normally Mars aspect is good, but Jupiter aspect is favorable. Sorry, it is not Mars aspect. Jupiter aspect is always favorable. But see the lordship of the Jupiter. The lordship of the Jupiter is 8th house. Jupiter also represents this thing in the ID horoscope of India. The seas, overseas, natural resources, sea routes. It is a 3rd lord, Jupiter, for his 8th lordship, and 11th lord, a dangerous Trishadaya lord. 11th lord, very powerful Trishadaya lord. So Jupiter will also act against our interest in the ID horoscope of our country. Jupiter has been aspecting Mars as the 8th lord. So Mars has got double power to strike us during its dynamic period through the significations of the 8th house, which are natural resources, sea routes, overseas, etc. Overseas means foreign countries, those who are located across the seas from our country. Now, we are currently going through the Mahadasha of Mars and Rahu. Mars, as the 12th lord, represents foreign countries. It will not destabilize internal situation of our country. It cannot. We will be the winner. We will be the winner. We will able to manage everything. We will able to manage everything internally. Don't worry. But it will keep us. It will give us the heat of developments across the seas. It will give us to feel the heat. That much only. We have to feel the heat of the heat of developments of the foreign countries, means the countries across the seas, far away from us. Internally, it cannot do anything other than eroding our wealth, because it is sitting in the 2nd house. So we are self-sufficient, we are strong, our economy is very strong, so nothing to be worried much. This is why it is an astrological academic exercise. I am sharing my analysis with my learned viewers. So you see, Mars cannot do any harm to us internally, or it will not impose any war on us, because as the 7th lord and 12th lord, it is a neutral planet. But getting a chance, it will try to harass us indirectly. It will try to harass us indirectly, because it is an impartial planet, Mars. It will give the heat of development in somewhere else. It will make us to feel the heat of developments somewhere else. So don't worry. Now, there is nothing to be worried for us. We'll manage internally. So, it is a neutral lord. Mars is not a benefic planet. It is natural malefic as well as functional malefic in the horoscope in the ID horoscope of our country. We are currently going through Mars-Rahu period. Rahu is the natural significator of the 12th house. It represents foreign, foreigner, a mlecha. And Mars is also the 12th lord, as the 12th lord represents foreign countries. And it is directly connected to the 8th house, will destabilize the 8th house significations of the horoscope because of his aspect and acceptual relation, means drishti relation with Jupiter, because Jupiter has been aspecting it. Jupiter here is not taking the role of a good mentor. It is taking the role of a bad mentor because of its bad lordship in the horoscope in the ID horoscope. Isn't it? So, there will be disturbance in other countries and we will feel the indirect heat of the same. That's much only. So, our government will manage everything. Rest assured. Very efficient government. It will manage everything. And we will able to manage also. We will stand firmly with our government like brave soldier, patriot soldier. So there is nothing to be worried much. I am just doing an academic exercise, astrological academic exercise, and nothing else, nothing beyond that. We must learn so that we become alert. And it is the duty of astrology. Forewarning. So, it is the condition, the Rahu, Mars-Rahu. Mars-Rahu period will continue up to next year. So, there is no hope of any good development across the seas, which will disturb us, only disturb us and nothing else. Mars-Rahu Antardasha would be succeeded by Jupiter Mahadasha. I have already explained the condition of Jupiter. Jupiter is a number one functional malefic in our horoscope, being the 8th lord, Trik 8th lord and Trishadaya 11th lord. It will not support us, but there will be intermittent relief during Saturn and Mercury Antardasha. There will be intermittent relief. We will face less heat during that Antardasha period. I will narrate. I have made a detailed, comprehensive analysis. I will share everything with you. First, I want you get acquainted with the horoscope. Now come to the transit part. Mars Mahadasha will continue up to 2032. It has begin with 2025. Now see the transit. In transit, Saturn is in Pisces, we all know, and it will continue. From Pisces, by its 10th aspect, it is activating the 8th house, Sagittarius. So it is 8th house is doubly activated. Firstly by the Mars, the Mahadasha Lord, and secondly by Saturn, 10th aspect. Now, Jupiter is transiting through Gemini, and Jupiter aspects are always in transit. Jupiter aspects are always good. always favorable, always work as protective shield, irrespective of its functional nature in a horoscope. So Jupiter has been aspecting the 8th house and somehow managing the adverse effect of the 8th house in our horoscope. But Jupiter protection will no longer be after 2nd of June, when Jupiter will move to Cancer. It will not able to protect us. But when Jupiter will again move to Leo, further move to Leo, not again, further move to Leo, it will by its 5th aspect protect the 8th house of our horoscope, means save us from the outside heat because of the development in the overseas countries. Got my point? Any development will feel the heat. Any major development in the overseas countries. Only overseas countries, not in our countries, will feel the heat. So Jupiter protection will be over after 2nd of June 2026. The Mars will move to what is called Gemini during May and remain there in transit until September, and Jupiter will move to Cancer. So there will be two bad transit aspects on our 8th house, when the situation may a bit situation across the sea. I am not situation, I am talking about the internal situation. Situation across the sea may be a bit matter of concern pertaining to 8th house signification. And 8th house signification, by now we have all learned, it controls natural resources, LPG, petroleum products, and sea routes, and overseas. Isn't it? So by now we have learned this thing. It will be heavily impacted adversely by the Saturn and Mars aspect on the 8th house Sagittarius of our horoscope. So there will be more pain, indirect pain on us. Maybe. Let us hope for best, but still it is indicated as per transit and Mahadasha. Moreover, transit of Mars over the natal Mars has not been praised in Hindu astrology because both are malefic. Both are warrior. Also, Mars is an warrior, aggressive planet by nature. So, May-September period, we have to take a note of May-September period. Needs more precautions. We need to be very firm. We need to be firmly stand behind our country, behind our government to manage the things, and I hope our government is so efficient, it will manage everything as it is managing now. Other countries may be affected, but our country will not get so much of affected because of very efficient internal mechanism in our country. Internal mechanism is very strong. So we need not be worried, but we need unity. We must stand united with our government. We should back our government. We should go, we should follow the policy of the government, guidelines of the government, letter and spirit. Everything will be okay. So, this is the prima facie condition. In the elaborate, in the comprehensive analysis I have prepared, you will be able to learn many things. I have already made acquainted my learned viewers with the prima facie situation, prima facie position of the horoscope. So let us proceed. I will again come back whenever need required to consult I will bring the horoscope before you again and again whenever required. So let me narrate. In India's Independence Day Horoscope, we are currently going through the Mahadasha of Mars 2025 to 2032, the Maraka 7th Lord and the 12th Lord of losses placed in the Maraka 2nd house and aspecting the 8th house. Maraka planets cause pain, suffering and stress in their Mahadashas in a country's horoscope. For in individual horoscope, it may give you death. But in a country's horoscope, it cannot give death. Besides, Mars is the significator of aggression and war. Is not a benefic planet in the Independence Day Horoscope of India with Taurus ascendant. Besides, Mars being the 8th Lord of the Kalpurush Kundli, natural zodiac for its Scorpio Lordship, a watery and chemical sign. You all know that Mars is the 8th Lord of the Kalpurush Kundli, natural zodiac. So, it has more strength on the 8th house. First, it is controlling our 8th house through its drishti. It is connected to the 8th house due to the aspect of Jupiter on it. It is also the 8th Lord in the Kalpurush Kundli, the natural zodiac. So, and we are going through the dynamic period of Mars from 2025 to 2032. So it will give us pain. We must remain alert. It will give us pain. And nothing else. Nothing more than that. Since its lordships means 7th house lordships and 12th house lordships are neutral. What could be the matter of attention for us in future in the wake of the ongoing stressful situation in the global energy sector? LPG fuel, we are mostly concerned about LPG fuel as individual, etc. And is likely coupling effect on us is that Mars 180 degrees direct opposition aspect drishti in the 8th house of Sagittarius in the Independence Day Horoscope of India as the dynamic MDL, as well as the aspect of the 8th Lord Jupiter on the dynamic MDL Mars, establishing a double 8th house connection with the MDL Mars. I must say it is triple also because it is the 8th Lord in the Kalpurush Kundli, Mars. Let us try to understand the 8th house significations first. Otherwise, you will not understand anything. In a country's horoscope and in the geopolitical context, the 8th house represents the natural resources beneath the earth's crust, under the sea, and exploration of the same, which also includes LPG and petroleum products. The eighth house also represents the seas, overseas, and sea routes. In this case, the Strait of Hormuz, the main supply route through which LPG and other petroleum products are shipped from overseas. The MDL Mars is the 12th lord of losses and as the pain giver because of its Maraka lordship. Being a Maraka planet in the Maraka second house may try to cause financial losses to our country at all opportune occasions by increasing the import bills on natural gases, fuel, petroleum products, and crude, since it influences the 8th house in the ID horoscope of India, besides being the 8th lord of Kalpurush Kundli. We must remain alert only, nothing else. It is an alert. It is the duty of astrology and astrologers to alert the people. That much only, and nothing beyond that. This may also, it is the duty of a chokidar also. Now, chokidar used to alert. Yeah? So, it is the duty of astrologers to alert. Alert only, nothing else. To alert somebody. Like meteorological department. What meteorological department do? Do alert us. So, it is the duty of astrologer also to alert. This may also create undue pressure on our foreign exchange reserve. Please remember, Mars as the 12th lord of losses is also sitting in the second house of wealth. I have shown all of you in the second house of wealth and may drain out our wealth reserve through excessive outflows due to the international developing situation while going for importing petroleum products. We have to buy at higher cost. Please remember, Mars as the 12th lord of losses is also sitting in the second house of wealth, Gemini, in our horoscope, in the ID horoscope of India, and may drain out our wealth reserve, particularly the foreign exchange reserve, forex, through excessive outflows due to the international developing situation for buying petroleum products or towards buying petroleum products. The MDL Mars is not likely to miss any opportunity to cause erosion to our national wealth reserve as the 12th lord of losses during its dynamic period, means Mahadasha, on this or other pretext. Any other pretext it will take. As such, from the perspective of Mars Mahadasha analysis, the global stressful situation in the energy sector is likely to impact our country as part of the global coupling effects. With intermittent rising pressure in the situation, if the development in the West Asia vis-a-vis interruption in smooth navigation through the Strait of Hormuz continues for long and until such time the oil exporting countries return to normalcy. It is also pertinent to mention that immediately after the commencement of Mars-Rahu dynamic period in the ID horoscope of India on 5th February 2026. The development in West Asia surfaced on 28th February 2026. Mars-Rahu period began on 5th February and the development in West Asia surfaced on 28th February 2026, immediately after, leading to the consequent interruption in navigating through the Strait of Hormuz. ADL Rahu, the natural significator of foreign countries, is in the sign of Venus in the Taurus ascendant and will give the results of Venus since Rahu is unassociated. Venus is not a fully benefic planet for the Taurus ascendant since its Mool Trikona sign lies in the 6th house of conflicts in Libra. In the ID horoscope of India, Venus is in the 3rd house, which is the secondary 8th house, being the 8th house from the 8th house, and is in an adverse 2-12 relationship with MDL Mars. Going by the promise of Venus, ADL Rahu is not likely to deliver favorable results in Mars Mahadasha since both the MDL and ADL have 8th and 12th house connections. MDL Mars directly through aspect on the 8th house and the lordship of the 12th house, and the ADL Rahu is indirectly connected to the secondary house of the 8th house, that is 3rd house, through its sign dispositor Venus, and with the 12th house as significator of the 12th house of foreign countries. I will show in the horoscope also. Moreover, I will show it, this paragraph. Moreover, the mutual Mahadasha and Antardasha of Mars and Rahu generally do not remain favorable in any horoscope since both are core natural malefics and invite hardship and struggle. Additionally, in the ID horoscope of India, MDL Mars is a pain giver, being the Maraka, 7th lordship, in the Maraka 2nd house. Being the Maraka, and ADL Rahu is also a natural pain giver, being the natural Maraka and the significator of foreign countries. So, during the Mars-Rahu period until February 2027, we may suffer indirectly from pain due to the coupling effect of any major development in the overseas countries. I'll show you in the horoscope also. Please stay with me. See, Rahu. Rahu is unassociated. I will now be explaining only about Rahu, the Antardasha Lord, the present Antardasha Lord in Mars Mahadasha. Rahu is in Taurus. Rahu is unassociated planet. Rahu is a shadowy planet, and it will give the result of Venus in its sign dispositor. See, Venus is in the 3rd house. Venus is in the 3rd house. From the 8th house Sagittarius, Venus is in the 8th house. Count 8, 9, 10, 11, 8. Count from here. The Cancer will be the 8th house again. Means 3rd house is the secondary 8th house. 3rd house is the secondary 8th house. Bhavad Bhavam of the 8th house. So when Rahu is also connected to the 8th house indirectly. And it is the natural significator of the 12th house of foreign countries. So Rahu is connected to the overseas development, and it is giving its Antardasha result during Mars Mahadasha, who is already connected to the 8th house as the 12th lord, as the Maraka 7th lord. Please stay with me. I will now proceed further. As such, from the perspective of Mars Mahadasha analysis, the global stressful situation in the energy sector is likely to impact our country as part of the global coupling effects, with intermittent rising prices, rising pressures in the situation if the development in the West Asia vis-a-vis interruption in smooth navigation through the Strait of Hormuz continues for long and until such time the oil exporting countries return to normalcy. It is also pertinent to mention that immediately after the commencement of the Mars-Rahu dynamic period in the ID horoscope of India on 5th February 2026, the development in West Asia surfaced on 28th February 2026, leading to the consequent interruption in navigating through the Strait of Hormuz. ADL Rahu, the natural significator of foreign countries, is in the sign of Venus. I have already shown you. And you can see here from the what is called the script. Script is in front of the learned viewers. Since the MDL Mars is the 12th lord of foreign countries and ADL Rahu is the natural significator of foreign countries, they will, during their mutual dynamic period, likely cause financial loss to India, our beloved country, due to foreign factors. These are exactly happening with India after the commencement of the Mars dynamic period in September 2025. Firstly, through the tariff hike by the USA against India, and now through the likely global effect due to the developments in West Asia and interruption in sailing through the Strait of Hormuz. Both Mars and Rahu are ill disposed in the ID horoscope of India. Rahu Antardasha will be followed by the Antardasha of Jupiter, February 2027 to January 2028, 1 year. In the Mahadasha of Mars, the 8th lord of natural resources beneath the earth crust and overseas in the 6th house of conflicts, expecting the 12th house of losses to be continued up to 30 January 2028. As such, indirect pain due to any major global development cannot be ruled out. However, Jupiter is in Viprit Sharala Raj Yoga, which brings success after overcoming adversities, because Jupiter is the 8th lord, is in the 6th house Libra. Jupiter is the 8th lord for his Sagittarius lordship, is in the 6th house Libra, causing Sharala Viparit Raj Yoga. But you must remember that the origin of the adversities is not in our country but overseas, on which we have less control. Loss and pain to us due to the developments in the foreign countries is likely to impact us during the Mars-Jupiter dynamic period, like the ongoing Mars-Rahu period, since both Mars and Jupiter are connected to the 8th house of pain. 8th house also gives pain, chronic pain. 8th house of pain through overseas countries, and the 12th house of losses through foreign countries indirectly. Everything will happen indirectly, nothing directly. However, during Saturn and Mercury Antardashas, both are Trikona Lord. Saturn is the 9th Lord, Mercury is the 5th Lord. However, during Saturn and Mercury Antardashas in Mars Mahadasha from 2028 to 2030, an intermittent relief from the situation can be anticipated in pertaining to our horoscope, ID horoscope of India, not about other countries. We may manage well during that period internally. We are not concerned about other countries because we are analyzing our horoscope. As regards the planetary transit, Saturn from Pisces has been activating the Lagna and the already afflicted 8th house of Sagittarius by the natal Mars in the ID horoscope of India. I have already shown the 8th house is badly afflicted due to the aspect of the Mars, which is a natural malefic planet. The only saving factor for the present is the aspect of transit Jupiter, not natal Jupiter, transit Jupiter on the 8th house of Sagittarius from Gemini, providing us a temporary sigh of relief concerning management of the internal situation in the energy sector in a befitting manner. We are managing internally in a befitting manner. This temporary protection will also be over on the 2nd of June 2026, when Jupiter will move to Cancer. It will no longer be aspecting the 8th of Sagittarius. Now it is aspecting the 8th of Sagittarius from Gemini and giving us a protective shield and providing us protective shield. The situation in the energy sector is likely to be stressful between May and September 2026, when two natural malefics transiting Saturn and Mars will influence the 8th house in the ID horoscope of India if the Strait of Hormuz is not made freely sailable by them. During this period, transiting Mars will also transit over the natal Mars in Gemini. I have already told you, the transit of Mars over the natal Mars, transit of Saturn over the natal Mars, transit of Rahu over the natal Mars are always bad. Malefic, transit of any malefic on any natal malefic is always bad. Transit of a natural benefic over a natal malefic is always favorable. Mars will transit over the natal Mars in Gemini. The transit of Mars over the natal Mars has not been praised in Hindu astrology, particularly in a situation that emerges due to war. Because there is war now in the overseas country, West Asia. Let us pray to the Divine Almighty to save our country and the common people from any likely adverse fallout of the global energy situation and take a pledge to stay firmly with our country and the government to face any emerging situation bravely like a patriot soldier. In any situation, whenever any situation arises, it is our moral duty, it is our collective responsibility to stay firmly with our government, because who will save us? Our government only. There is no shelter to go. Only our government will provide us shelter, will provide us relief, will give us soothing touch on our problem. So we must stay firmly in any emerging situation. Leave this situation, this type, in any situation. It is the moral duty of all citizens to stay firmly with the government, because government will only save us. It will give us relief where we will go. In the final summary, as I have promised, the final summary is that pain and losses to us due to various overseas factors are likely to continue throughout Mars Mahadasha until February 2032. February 2032. Whenever there is any major global unrest, because Mars will avail those opportunity to give us pain. Mars is a neutral planet in the ID horoscope of India, and as far as its lordships are concerned, though it keeps adverse promises. Its lordships are neutral, but it is keeping adverse promises. Mars is therefore of its own may not impose any war on us or make us a party to any war, but will not like to miss any opportunity to destabilize the economy of our country, cause a temporary interruption in supply chain, resulted pain, etc., due to any major development in the overseas countries. Is the astrological analysis. No country in the world can keep itself isolated and shielded from any major global coupling effect, which is the ground reality, and India cannot be exception to it. Please try to understand. Except in the event of a divine miracle, which is a matter of common sense and doesn't require any domain expertise. If you are concerned about how these global shifts affect your household budget, hit the subscribe button as we may track these planetary movements monthly depending on the subscribers' wishes, your comments and likes. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time.